What if I told you that a seemingly innocuous series of dots and dashes helped shift the course of history, saving countless lives and altering the fate of the world? Picture this. It's 1941, World War II rages across the globe, and the Allies are teetering on the edge of defeat. But hidden in the chaos of battle, a secret code, cryptic, unbreakable, and utterly vital, emerges, and it changes everything. It's a code so powerful that it was deemed the decoding miracle of the war, one that saved millions of lives and ultimately helped the Allies turn the tide in their favor. You may have heard of it, the Enigma Code. But what you probably don't know is the shocking story behind how this code was cracked. The Allies, struggling to combat his unstoppable advance, are battling on multiple fronts: land, sea, and air. But the Nazis have a secret weapon of their own, the Enigma machine, an encoding device that turns every communication into an unintelligible series of numbers, letters, and symbols. And how one team of mathematicians, linguists, and unlikely heroes pulled off one of the most extraordinary feats of wartime intelligence. Here, a group of brilliant minds, including mathematicians, linguists, and engineers, gathered to crack the unbreakable. Led by a man who would become one of the 20th century's greatest unsung heroes, Alan Turing. And that breakthrough came in the form of a single mistake by the Germans. Stick around to discover how a single breakthrough in cryptography could have saved the future of humanity from tyranny. A mechanical brain, capable of defeating the code that had stumped the best minds of Europe. While others scrambled to analyze the ciphertexts, Turing realized that it wasn't the machine's complexity that made the code unbreakable. It was the sheer volume of possibilities. He focused not on brute force, but on finding patterns in the way messages were structured. Hi, I am thrilled to have you here with me as we dig into one of the most mind-blowing tales from World War II. The German U-boats, which had been sinking Allied supply ships with deadly efficiency, were suddenly at the mercy of Allied naval intelligence. The Germans, still oblivious to the breach in their encryption, failed to anticipate the Allied landings in Normandy. Without the intelligence gleaned from those encrypted messages, the war would have dragged on much longer, possibly altering the entire outcome. The Nazis could have maintained their dominance over Europe for much longer, and countless more lives would have been lost. How would you have handled that kind of pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about the unsung heroes of Bletchley Park. Turing and his team had cracked the code just in time, giving the Allies a strategic edge in the most critical operation of the war. The code wasn't just cracked by one man, but by a collective of brilliant minds, working together against the clock to change the world. But ask, what other secrets lie hidden in the past, waiting to be uncovered? Their success didn't just win the war. It laid the foundation for modern computing and set the stage for the technological world we live in today. With Enigma decrypts in hand, the Allies could predict U-boat locations, reroute their convoys, and avoid ambushes. With each message intercepted, the Allies found themselves staring at an encrypted wall, unable to decipher any of the critical information that could help them strike back. But despite his monumental contributions, Alan Turing's story didn't end in celebration. After the war, he was persecuted for his homosexuality, a tragic irony given that his genius had helped the world. If you've got any questions or want to dig deeper into the Enigma Code or Alan Turing's life, leave me a message. I'll be sure to get back to you. Turing died under mysterious circumstances in 1954, a sad end for the man who had altered the course of history. This small error, unnoticed at the time, gave the Bletchley Park team the first crack at breaking the code. It wasn't just about intercepting messages. It was about knowing exactly where the enemy was going to strike next. It gave the Allies an unprecedented advantage on the battlefield. Within months, Bletchley Park's codebreakers were regularly reading German military messages. They were not only intercepting communications, but predicting German movements, sometimes even before the Germans knew they were being intercepted. And that's when they went to work. If you're passionate about history, intrigue, and the pivotal moments that have shaped our world, this documentary is for you. Today, we're exploring how a secret code changed the entire outcome of the war, and more importantly, how its decryption helped shape the world we live in today. It all begins with a ticking clock. The year is 1939, and Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime is tightening its grip on Europe. The Enigma was hailed by the Germans as unbreakable, an invincible fortress of secrecy. And for a time, they were right. But, unbeknownst to the Nazis, the clock was ticking for them as well. Enter Bletchley Park, a top-secret British facility that became the epicenter of wartime intelligence. Turing, an enigmatic genius with a passion for machines, had a vision. What if he could create a machine that could think like the Enigma, one that could run through millions of possible combinations per second? Turing's concept would eventually become the Colossus machine, but first, they needed a breakthrough. In 1940, the Germans grew overconfident. They made a fatal flaw in their use of the Enigma machine. They repeated the same set of key phrases in their messages. Turing's brilliance wasn't just in his machine, but in his ability to think differently. Incredibly, Turing's machine, the bomb, allowed him to test different Enigma settings at lightning speed. The tide of war began to shift. The decoding of the Enigma was nothing short of a game-changer. One of the most famous instances came during the Battle of the Atlantic. The Enigma breakthrough was also pivotal in the success of the D-Day invasion. Imagine a world where the Allies never cracked the Enigma. Turing's efforts shortened the war by about 2 years, saving millions of lives. Now, imagine the pressure on those codebreakers. It was a race against time. One mistake could mean the difference between victory and defeat. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more riveting historical tales. In the end, the story of the Enigma Codebreakers isn't just about war. It's about the power of human ingenuity, resilience, and teamwork. And now, as we reflect on the story of the Enigma Code, we can't help thanks for watching. Keep tuning in for more incredible stories from history. Subscribe, share, and stay curious.